morning. Good to have you all with us today, both here and in your homes. My name is Cora Dieter, and I'd like to thank Chris Berry for the beautiful piano music this morning. And June Staley is taking care of the technical services for us today. We're pleased to have Paula Ulrich with us today. She's a co-pastor at the Beacon Heights Church of the Brethren in Fort Wayne. And she would like us to sing hymn number 648 in the blue hymnal. Morning Has Broken, page 648.
Good morning, lovely people. I will be reading from the Peace Table Storybook Bible, which is part of the Shine curriculum, a joint project between the Church of the Brethren and the Mennonites. We have been working hard at Beacon Heights to make our worship services meaningful for all ages by using the Peace Table Bible in both worship and children's gatherings. This is Genesis 1 through 2:3, paraphrased by the Peace Table Bible. When beginning, God created in the dark. Light shone. God saw the light was good. God called the light day and the darkness night. There was nighttime and morning, the first day. Then God said, "Let there be a dome." A dome appeared like a ceiling over the water. God called the ceiling sky. There was nighttime and morning, the second day. Then God said, "Let land appear," and it did. God saw the land was good. God called the dry land earth, and the water around it seas. Then God said, "Let the earth sprout plants and fruit trees." Up sprouted every plant and tree. God saw goodness in what grew. There was nighttime and morning, the third day. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the sky." The sun, moon, and stars arose, and God saw goodness. There was nighttime and morning, the fourth day. Then God said, "Let there be animals in the water and birds in the sky." Sea creatures swam, birds soared across the sky. God called them good and blessed them. There was nighttime and morning, the fifth day. Then God said, "Let there be animals on the land." Wild animals and tame animals roamed. God called them good. Then God said, "Let us make humans in our image to care for the earth. And God created humans and blessed them. God saw everything God made and agreed it was all very good. There was nighttime and morning, the sixth day. God finished creating, and on the seventh day, God rested. The title of my sermon is God Created in the Dark. In March, I went to Virginia for 3 weeks to work on cleaning out my parents' house, since my mother is now living in memory care and my dad is now living in independent living in a retirement community. Before I left for Virginia, I told people that the task would not be nearly so challenging as what Dan and his siblings had to do 5 years ago when they cleared out their parents' home in Bridgewater, Virginia. That house was one in which the children had grown up and in which Dan's father, always on the cutting edge of technology, and a founding member of the board of Brethren Encyclopedia, had amassed a full basement full of papers, books, computers, and electronic equipment. During that time, we enjoyed a cartoon that includes a man and a child standing in the doorway, gazing into a room filled with cords and adapters and outdated computer equipment. The man says, "One day, son, all of these perfectly good AC adapters, which have long outlived the products they were originally designed for, will be yours." My parents, on the other hand, have moved many times over the years, and they deliberately downsized when they moved to Bridgewater in 2012. It is not going to be hard, I thought, to get this one-story, 1,400 square foot home ready to sell. But I failed to remember the power of multi-generational creatives, artists, and collectors. We are a family from my German great-grandparents down through 6 generations of woodworkers, inventors, textile creators, sculptors, painters, bookmakers, garment seamsters, crocheters, crafters, quilters, musicians, gardeners, cross-stitchers, photographers, and more, and we have the evidence. One of the items my brother took is a model church crafted of heavy gray cardboard, wood, and carpet. My great-grandfather, John Henry Ziegler, a first-generation American, built the church well before my birth. I doubt he used a pattern. And at one time it lit up with the light shining through the church windows. It was complete with little wooden pews, pulpit, leadership chairs, chancel, worship table, and even tiny little beeswax candles. And then there are my grandmother's quilts. My grandfather, the oldest son of John Henry, who crafted the model church, often created and traced the designs sewn into the quilts to keep the batting in place. And then my grandmother quilted them. My dad has been, throughout his almost 93 years, the ultimate sportsman, artist, musician, and collector. Some of the things we left for the auction must have been like a gold mine for a crafter or designer that can use things like 2 large bins of antlers from his many decades of going to the woods for contemplation and quiet with his shotgun or muzzle loader or crossbow. My family fits the typical definition of what it means to be creative. And I know that there are a lot of people who insist that they do not, nor have they ever had, a creative bone in their body because they have never painted or done needlework or made things. But this scripture reminds us that we, all of us here, are made in the image of a creative God, a God who creates in the dark and in the day. Many religions and cultures have creation or origin stories, but the Genesis account is described by scholars as radical, remarkable, and revolutionary. Why is that? In many creation stories, humans are created in a world with many gods, and they get caught in the crossfire or skirmishes between those gods. Plus, humans in those origin stories are often considered annoying and too noisy by the gods, and the gods do not genuinely love them. But in the Hebrew account in our scriptures, while heavenly beings are mentioned in Genesis and plural pronouns are used, they are not gods. There is only one God. And God speaks humans into existence for the purpose of relationship and love with God and with one another. In addition, God is not a specialist doing only one kind of thing like the gods of other cultures. In our story, the Hebrew God is the creator of all things. Therefore, humanity reflects that as well with our vast array of talents, gifts, skills, imaginations, and creativities. And all of it is declared good. The good news not only happens with the advent of Christ, but with the advent of creation. We are imago Dei, created in the image of God, with the rich facets of God's creativity coming together in variety and diversity, making us whole. And creativity is not only about making things. Naomi Shihab Nye shares this story in a poem she calls Wandering Around an Albuquerque Airport Terminal. She writes, "After learning my flight was detained 4 hours, I heard the announcement, if anyone in the vicinity of Gate 4A understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately." Well, one pauses these days. Gate 4A, though, was my own gate, so I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing loudly. "Help," said the flight service person. "Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be 4 hours late, and she did this." I put my arm around the woman and spoke to her haltingly. "Shudoa, shubidik, habit bibti, stani shve, min fadlik, shobit siwi." The minute she heard my words, she knew, however poorly used. She stopped crying. She thought our flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for some major medical treatment the following day. I said, No, we're fine. You'll get there, just late. Who is picking you up? Let's call him and tell him." We called her son, and I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and would ride next to her, southwest. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons, just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic, and found out, of course, that they have 10 shared friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took about 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling about her life, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mamul cookies, little powdered sugar, crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts, out of her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the traveler from California, the lovely woman from Laredo, we were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There are no better cookies. And then the airline broke out the free beverages from huge coolers, non-alcoholic, and the two little girls for our flight, one African American, one Mexican American, ran around serving us all apple juice and lemonade, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend, by now we were holding hands, had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green furry leaves. Such an old country traveling tradition. Always carry a plant, always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around the gate of late and weary ones and thought, this is the world I want to live in, the shared world. Not a single person in this gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, has seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all these other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. Isn't that a beautiful story? Sometimes when we feel like we are in the dark and lost and don't know what to do, all it takes is remembering that God begins creating, not in the daylight, but in the dark. And creativity rises up in unexpected and surprising ways. Naomi doesn't begin speaking to this woman by quoting her award-winning poetry. Instead, she rises to the occasion with kindness and with listening. That's something we can do. And it's countercultural and creative in a world filled with technology, isolation, separation, and dismissiveness. Naomi fosters creativity in the practical relational steps she takes to put this grandma at ease. She does the simple thing of making phone calls, not only to the grandmother's family members, but to others with whom she might connect and be able to enjoy a comforting conversation. And these simple things become contagious. Inspiring even more creativity through fun and powdered sugar cookies, open hearts, and little girls serving apple juice and lemonade. Everyone gets in on the creativity. We sometimes think of the dark as negative, but even though God creates light and calls it good, God does not eliminate the darkness, nor the short days of winter when it seems so dark. Darkness exists as an essential part in the rhythm of creation, even in the rhythm of our daily lives. Scientists say that we need sleep, which most of us do during the night when it is dark, for the healing and repair of our bodies. Darkness offers an opportunity for rest and renewal for the earth and for its creatures, for our bodies and for our minds. We must not forget the creative potential and goodness of the dark. As humans, we tap into all kinds of creativity. One person I know who does not consider himself artistically creative adds creativity into lectures and class sessions as a professor, sometimes playing the part of a first-century slave who arrives to wash the feet of the guest in the classroom and to tell them his story as he wonders about this new movement, the way, and what it's all about. People who practice peacemaking must tap into learned skills and creativity as they navigate hostile spaces, figuring out practical ways to extinguish fires, calming things down, moving things forward in healthy, healing ways. Creatives include problem solvers, people who fix things, who must figure out what to do to make something right. It includes scientists as well as artists and people of every age. Perhaps you do not feel as if you have the opportunity to be creative anymore or as much as you would like. But no matter our ages, I invite all of us to be people who create as part of God's family of creatives. Let us create relationships, even when we perceive a barrier, by reaching out to people in kindness, generosity, and love. Let us create circles of listening to one another and practice peacemaking when anything becomes stressful and hard. Let us create fan clubs for each other, fan clubs that offer encouragement. I imagine there are young nurses and aides among you who work here who need exactly that kind of encouragement. Wisdom, your wisdom, and care that you have to offer while they are offering care to you or to others as well. Let us plant seeds and grow things, maybe literally, but certainly through our everyday interactions with each other. We never know when something we say will be life-changing for someone else. Let us dance and delight, if not physically, at least with our spirits. Let us offer cookies and pass out lemonade and receive cookies and lemonade. Let us be artists of our lives, each one of us different and unique, created by the one who began it all by creating in the dark. And here is my blessing to you as you go out to the many other things that will fill your day. Do you not know how much you are adored and loved? No strings attached, just as you are, created in the image of God, siblings in faith, a community seeking God together. May you know joy and delight and a profound sense of goodness, a profound sense of creativity and love as you leave this place. May these things sustain you as you move through this day and through this week. Amen.